Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
My rants on Windows Vista have been legendary. And the only reason I've been vocal about Windows and Windows Vista is because I care. If I didn't care, I would just, let it be. Or I'd say things like, well, Vista isn't problematic for me, so I don't know what your problem is. That's not how you're supportive, in my opinion. As a community member, as someone who felt that me, was slighted by Windows Vista Ultimate, who was confused with all the various versions of Windows Vista Home Premium. Can anybody sit here and tell me, honestly, without looking it up, the differences between Vista Ultimate, Vista Home Premium, Basic, Business? As someone who cares, I've been saying this for a while. Microsoft has lost the community, and I'm trying to help them. I swear, I'm trying to help them. I am. It's maddening, though, to come out and state what I believe is the truth, only to be, well, kind of pushed out of the Windows community by other enthusiasts. I was kind of painted a black sheep after coming out and saying Vista's that's not ready for prime time. I said that before it shipped, and I said it after it shipped. I said it's still beta. And, I guess I took my lumps for months, if not well over a year, to the point where I said, you guys, if the Windows community isn't going to stand up and tell Microsoft what they're doing wrong and what they could do right, more importantly, it's not about just, complaining or whining. It's telling them where they could get it right. I've always been open. I've always been candid. I've always been direct, and I've always got my integrity. So, yesterday, an article was posted on Todd Bishop's Microsoft blog. Now, I know Todd. I'm going to give him full credit for this. I'm reading what he surfaced here, and we'll be linking directly to the article. You need to read it. You need to read the whole thing. And then you need to take serious stock. Microsoft needs help. I don't agree with the class action that's been filed against them, specifically on, and this is one of the first links, a lawsuit over the Windows Vista Capable program. I don't believe that lawsuits necessarily are going to make this better. So I want to be clear about that. I don't support it. I won't be a part of it. And I will be clear about trying to help by giving candid feedback, direct feedback, as much as humanly possible. But you need to hear this, especially if you're one who thought that I was crazy for saying that Vista wasn't ready. Because this is vindication here. Absolute vindication. And, if you really love Windows as much as you say you do, then the title of his article is full text, Microsoft Execs on Vista Problems. A federal judge today unsealed internal Microsoft emails that have been used to support plaintiff's case, or the plaintiff's case, in the lawsuit over the Windows Vista Capable program. Snippets were previously read aloud in court, but the full messages go further to reveal extensive hand-wringing at the highest levels of the company over Windows Vista's hardware and software compatibility problems after the operating system was launched. For example, one February 2007 exchange, PDF, 17 pages, started with an email to Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer from board member John Shirley, who explained that he upgraded one of his computers to Windows Vista only to find it was experiencing compatibility problems with two of Microsoft's own MSN applications. Shirley wasn't upgrading his other computer because of a lack of hardware drivers. As many early Windows Vista users know, Shirley wasn't the only one experiencing those kinds of problems, especially in the initial months after release. In addition to some of the previously reported excerpts, including executive Mike Nash's complaint that compatibility problems turned his $2,100 PC into nothing more than a quote-unquote email machine. That thread led to a revealing message from Steven Sinofsky, then the newly installed Windows chief. I don't know if that was pun intended or what, but Todd, that was good writing. In the message, Sinofsky offered his take on what went wrong with Windows Vista's launch and how the company should change its approach in the future. I've got a few. He's right fundamentally, but I want to underscore certain parts of his message specifically related to the community because I think that's where Vista really kind of took a nosedive. This is particularly notable given Sinofsky's public silence during the past year. It will no doubt be closely examined by people looking for clues about Microsoft strategies with Windows 7, the codename for Windows Vista's successor. Read on for the full text of Sinofsky's message. And I'm going to read this message and then leave you to the rest of the article, including the ability to download the entire set of messages, which is a PDF at 158 pages. It's pretty heavy. Not light reading, but if you're interested, it's now in the public domain. Stephen writes, I think folks are... Now, remember, this is an email. I think folks are working on this now, and we just need time. I should note the date of this email, February 18th, 2007. Basically, I think three things worked against us. One, no one really believed we would ever ship, so they didn't start the work until very late in 2006. This led to the lack of availability. For example, my home multifunction printer did not have drivers until 2.2, and even pulled their 130 drivers and re-released them, brother. And by the way, as a side note, you might remember in my 45-minute long rant on Vista, one of the first public videos I did about Vista a year ago, my primary complaint was that my all-in-one printer did not work. 2. Massive change in the underpinnings for video and audio really led to a poor experience at RTM, especially with respect to Windows Media Center. This change led to incompatibilities. For example, you don't get Aero with an XP driver, but your card might not ever have a Vista driver. 3. A lot of change led to many Windows XP drivers not really working at all. This is across the board for printers, scanners, WAN, accessories, fingerprint readers, smart cards, TV tuners, and so on. This category is due to the fact that many of the associated applets don't run within the constraints of the security model or the new video audio driver models. For example, Orlando A., and that's a Microsoft executive, is not on Vista because there are no drivers for his Verizon card yet. Microsoft's own hardware was missing a lot of the support. Microsoft's own hardware lacked Vista support. People who rely on using all the features of their hardware, like John's Nikon scanner, he notes, will not see availability for some time, if ever, depending on the manufacturer. The built-in drivers never have all the features, but do work. For example, I could print with the Brother printer and use it as a standalone fax, but network setup, scanning, print to fax must come from Brother. The Vista Ready logo program required drivers available on 130. I think we had reasonable coverage, but quality was uneven, as I experienced. Intel has the biggest challenge. Their 945 chipset, which is the baseline Vista set, barely works right now and is very broadly used. The 915 chipset, which is not Aero capable, is in a huge number of laptops and was tagged as Vista capable but not Vista Premium. I don't know if this was a good call, but those function but will never be great. Even a 945 set has new builds of drivers coming out constantly, but hopes are the next chipset rather than this one. Hopes are on the next chipset rather than this one, pardon. The point Jim, and that would be Jim Alchim, had of declaring a release candidate was because he sensed people were not really working under a deadline in the ecosystem. By the way, the word ecosystem shows up in just about every Microsoft email. This helped, even though we knew we had more work to do on our side. So far, I'm surprised at the low call volume in product support services. I think we have a lot of new PCs, which helps and the hobbyist people who bought a full packaged product or upgrade just know what to do. They just know what to do. The geeks know what to do and aren't calling, but I know they're struggling. I have no idea if Steven ever watched my video, but he certainly saw when the video got covered in an AP article. All of this is why we need much more clarity and focus at events like WinHEC, which is the Windows Hardware Engineering Conference. We need to be clear with industry, and we need to decide what we will do and do that well and 100% and not just do a little of everything, which leaves the independent hardware vendors in a confused state. And that's where Todd's quoting of the message ends. You know, I gave as much feedback as I could, but it boiled down to being a member of the community and feeling that Windows Vista Ultimate extras were anything but ultimate, and not being able to explain beyond just, price, the difference between one version of Vista and another, at least to the average consumer. It's just, I hope that Microsoft's culture understands that we've got choices, and whether that choice is continuing to use XP, or whether that choice is trying another operating system, it's still a choice. I know a new version of Windows is on the horizon. That goes without saying. There's always going to be a new version of some operating system on the horizon. I'm asking of Microsoft just a few simple things, but in my opinion, simple. The most important of which is the community. And I feel they didn't listen to their community. I think they value feature over implementation, and unfortunately, I don't think that's going to fly anymore. And while I don't throw the world of computers and operating systems completely inside the world of consumer electronics, they're certainly, kind of, as far as like my parents are concerned, one and the same. My mother-in-law just got a new laptop from a very popular OEM, and it has had problems. She hasn't been able to use it for 2 weeks, and now she's afraid to use it again. She's afraid to use it. And the OEM started to play the blame game. And at the end of the day, the user loses. And so I ask that Microsoft listens to the user, listens to the community, so that you don't show us something and go, here, look what we did. You ask us before you do it. If you involve your community, not only will they just give you, will just bleh, feedback. I mean, just they're there for you. And these are the same people who probably still dislike me for my opinions about the way that Windows is headed. And again, I'm not talking about the corporate world. Not my world, okay? I'm a home user. I'm a power user, but I'm a home user. I deal with questions all the time from people who are just workaday, like if they're geeky, they still have questions, and I get a lot of questions from people who aren't geeky. That's the world I live in. And I can tell you, the community is there. They may, have a different opinion, but they're users. That's the bottom line. They're going to help you build a better product if you let them. And I hope you let them. Reading this email was just, it was hard to read because it kind of confirmed a lot of my suspicions. But as I said, I call a spade. And I don't think my reputation has suffered from it one bit. You may have had no issues with Windows Vista. Good for you. I'm telling you, a lot of other people have, myself included. Enough people have had issues with Windows Vista, there's a class action lawsuit, which I do not support. I do not. Not one single bit. The community has a chance to help so long as Microsoft is willing to listen. That the onus is on them. They want to listen. Hey, I'm a power user. Man, I'm a community person through and through. I've got strong opinions. I admit it. But then again, what geek doesn't? I only have strong opinions and passions because I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't bother talking about it. I wouldn't spend any time on it. I wouldn't have spent any time on it, giving as much feedback as I possibly could, specifically at the point where I knew I could offer the most value to Microsoft, specifically in the area of UI and consistency in the interface. So, everyone wants to paint me as, one guy or one person or another. I'm sure in the same video I'm going to get accused for being a Microsoft basher and a Microsoftie. Doesn't matter what I say. People are going to believe what they want to believe. But I still believe that the only way that Windows is going to be saved is if the community has a chance to participate at every step of the way, specifically during the planning stages. They'll let you know. Microsoft, and they'll let you know. We'll let you know. And yes, I still do use Windows. I think we all kind of do. Anyway, my email address is chris@pirillo.com, as I say in every one of my videos. I'm curious to know what you think about what's going on here. I know you're just going to throw in your 2 cents about what you think about Vista, and honest, I don't want to hear. At this point, we've already established that it's not good. Microsoft executives have established that it's not good. Okay, we're past that point. We're not bashing here. Okay, what can Microsoft do better? What can PC OEMs that rely on Microsoft to deliver an operating system for their computers, what can they do better? Be truthful, be honest. Now, we've got a live video feed. This is being recorded live because I've got the stream going. And even at 10:30 at night, we've got a little over 600 people watching because I do this every day. It's not a show, really. It's just a live video feed and audio and whatnot. We've got a chat room full of hundreds of people, and we're typically talking about this stuff. Problems, solutions, tips, tricks, tech in general. And you're welcome to join us anytime, day or night, at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.